Welcome to another episode of the Top Corner Podcast. And today we got a good show. And
how much better is this show than the usual shows? Is it supremely better? Or is it on par?
Yeah.
What are we talking about here? What's the form of measurement?
No, I think today is good. It's gonna be
way better.
Yeah. It's like every day it's better.
Yeah.
You can go from better, good.
Yeah.
You know.
Like you look at the show format, you're like, holy shit, this one's good. Like, is that what you're thinking?
No, it's more like I know it's gonna be good.
Yeah, wishful thinking.
Yeah.
All right, I got you. Anyway.
All right, guys. Let's get rolling. We got some news and rumors, and before I start, I would say everybody go subscribe.
Subscribe to this shit. What else are you doing? You're not doing anything else.
My co-host today is Julian. You guys should know his name by now. How you doing today, man?
Doing well. Running late. I think we both are kind of just. It's like it's the days that you are early are the days that I'm late, and vice versa. Yeah. And but no, it's good. Just traffic around town is a bit of a mess. Interesting little bits of news here, but the thing is, there's not a ton that's happening that's definite.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff you could think about. You know, Mbappe's now blaming PSG for leaking information and stuff like. But there's nothing solidified. There's nothing guaranteed about that.
I don't know if you saw that video of Mbappe being invited to, how do you call it, Champs-Élysées, it's the White House in France.
Yeah,
basically.
I didn't see that.
President Macron and the president of PSG.
Interesting.
I think they want Mbappe to stay. You know, that's how they kind of got him last time. Because I'm pretty sure last time he would have left. But the president of France had a meeting with him,
begging and pleading with an athlete.
When you look at the football, the league itself, right? It's like that star that at least it resonates around the world, where they'll be like, where is he playing?
Yeah.
What league is he playing at? And they will go look, and it's the French league. So it's kind of like a traffic driver in a sense.
He's like the Michael Jordan of Paris, but there's no one else in the league.
I would say the Michael Jordan at this point.
Yeah, because in that time you still had Karl Malone, you still had John Stockton, you still had Scottie Pippen.
He's the one that can generate as much traffic, the one that everybody can look at. And in honesty, in the world, in a sense, I mean, there's a lot of players now, but if you want to be honest, I think Mbappe is the most marketable player at this point, because the amount of traffic he has generated just by speculating on where he will go. Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen this before. Even when Ronaldo was going to Madrid.
Not in this sport. I've seen it once in basketball.
Yeah, not in this sport. So I think that's why they want him to stay. But if I was Mbappe right now, I'm leaving. I am leaving. Because you have so much potential. So young. But the only way for you, in my opinion, to win like a Ballon d'Or, because you got to solidify your legacy too, it's by going to a club that will win trophies, so you can be competitive and you could be in the face of the world, where every journalist, every football pundit see you, watch you every week in and out, and will have a vote. You know, it's like winning the hearts of everyone. But at this point, if you stay there, you might be like Zlatan used to say, remove the statue of for the Eiffel Tower and put the statue of Zlatan in there. Yeah, you might have your own statue there, but I don't think you will win anything. You know,
the Mbappe situation reminds me of the great Herman Melville's novel Moby Dick. Do you like this? Do you like where this is going? I'm kidding. No, PSG is like Captain Ahab.
Yeah.
And Mbappe is like the white whale. And they're searching and they're searching and they're trying to find a way for their universes to stay together.
Yeah.
Like if Ahab finally caught the white whale, but the white whale wants to get away. Mm-hmm. And they have this disgustingly abusive relationship with each other, the whale and Ahab. And it's just the relationship is going to kill both parties.
Yeah.
And I don't think that the PSG president wants to be harpooned to the side of Moby Dick as he's dragged to the depths of the ocean like the novel.
Yeah.
I don't think so, at least. I don't see a situation in which a sporting director would want to be drowned by a white whale. That's all I got.
In a sense. I think this guy, you got to leave, brother. Don't stay in League One. I remember...
Just let him go. Let the beautiful creature go.
I remember in the days of Samuel Eto'o, I think one French journalist asked him this at some point. Uh, would you be willing to go to League One? This was when he was hot. Like I think he was still in Barcelona or Inter. He said, "Nah, because it's more like a training ground. There's nothing to it, but it's like that. That's what I'm saying. And for sure, the people that have won the Ballon d'Or in the I would say last decade and this decade don't come from League One. Because you have to be in the eyes of the public. And you will also have to be playing this big tournament. You can do the World Cup every once in a while, but every year there are things like Champions League that people are looking at, because that's what the best of the best come in every week, or not every week, but come in and compete to see who is really him. And the only person and the only clubs that really do that at that level will be someone in Spain, someone in England, and someone in Germany.
And every like 7 or 8 years or so, and Inter Milan or a Juventus make an Italian run. But even, you are 100% correct.
Yeah, even if you were Juventus, that would be better. Because Juventus had this. I mean, you had had guys winning the Ballon d'Or at Juventus. Although last decade, I was going to ask you, last decade or this.
If decade. But you're not saying right this second that Mbappe would rather be at Juventus than PSG.
I think that would be better, even to win because
I disagree about Juventus, but I would say that he'd rather be at Inter Milan.
Even in the Italian league, because the Italian league is rated above them.
That's the thing,
because they have history.
Yes,
there's a difference, right? It's like Manchester City can offer you more money, right, than Madrid can offer you. But they don't have the history.
They don't have the history.
People want to go to Madrid.
But at this moment,
you
have an equal chance of success at City and Madrid right this second.
No, of course.
But historically, no.
No, you have that. I'm just saying that things that makes people look at it and say, well, he might deserve a Champions League. There's also history attached to it. And there's also the fact that some leagues have known to be those guys. Some leagues have known to have that credibility, not even the credibility, but people from those teams have won things. It's like when I took the example of Madrid, just to say that City might have the money, but you see players say, "I want to go to Madrid." They said because Madrid has this, and that's actually why Madrid is so powerful right now, because they will negotiate your contract even if you're hot. Even if it costs 200 million, they negotiated at 100 million.
So since we're on this really fast, there are 2 points I want to make about this Mbappe deal. And I think that this just lends further proof that you said it yourself, that the French league is not as competitive. No. And I think that it really does show. And it's one of those things where when Neymar and Mbappe were there, and it was in like 2019 when you were not... It was not guaranteed that the PSG experiment was over.
Yeah.
But it really does hurt that team to play in a lower level league week in and week out, because when they do get to the Champions League stages, they never really show what they can do because they're not being tested every single week. The talent might be there, but you're not sharpening your skills as much as an English side, even a German side. Like, the entire league of the Bundesliga overall has a closer level of quality than the French league. That's just a fact.
That has always been my point, because I always felt that it's not even today, first of all, but at that time, having in any league, and that's why I kind of want to have Bayern studied a little bit, because playing in a league that is, if you have 100% talent and you're playing with people with 50% talent, and that's what you're playing and accustomed to, you might think, "Oh, I'm good." But the reality is that you're not good. You're just overpowered against teams that are not good. And when you get to the Champions League where you're playing with the best of the best, it's a whole different story.
And that's sort of what I'm saying as well. They are similar, Bayern and PSG, in terms of dominating their leagues. But overall, the Bundesliga has better talent throughout.
I think that might be,
even though they are dominating that league, it's just that like on any given day, anywhere on that table, the Bundesliga side is more likely to be a bit more skilled and a bit more understanding of tactics than the French sides.
Yes, I think so too. When you look at football on overall scale, and you had years that you had Lyon, you had OM, you had Monaco, and for me, I really, I think especially for the French football, I think they have to come up with a plan where there's a little bit more distribution of wealth, so the amount of talent could be proportional to the each team talent should be proportional to each team talent, so it can be a little bit balanced. Bayern should be the same. Bundesliga should be the same too, but because Bundesliga has this top guy that at least they know. So
shed some light on this for me, because I'm not as privy to the history of the French league itself. But really, I mean, PSG had won some domestic cups and some domestic league titles before the big buyout, right? That happened in what, the late 2000s, early 2010s?
Yeah.
The big buyout where they got all the money?
Yeah, late after 2010 actually.
Yeah, so this dynasty that they have over this league is pretty new overall in terms of them trying to be that Bayern side, because I mean, you said it, Monaco does have decent standing. Like there were others. It wasn't always this giant dynasty, this monopoly at the very top. It wasn't until this big buyout happened, and then all of a sudden they think that they're entitled to something that they're not.
Actually, teams like Paris Saint-Germain are newborn teams. The same thing like City. There's not a huge culture or huge history attached to them.
Then why does PSG insist on feeling like they are? Why does
because they have the money now. It's something that's
exactly. But there are other teams that have been bought out that have the money, but like PSG they're walking around acting like they've won the title before, so they deserve it, or they. Why are they so certain that they belong there when they've never won it? They've never come close.
Yeah.
Until 2020, and they got smacked up by that fucking Bayern side. God, they got demolished. But what a good Bayern side that was, though.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just that. It's the money that makes the team. Teams like Olympique Marseille have more.
It was 2011, by the way, when they got the buyout.
Yeah. Yep. Teams like Olympique Marseille have more history.
Yeah.
They when you talk about French football, Olympique Marseille, Lyon.
I think Lille does too, don't they? Like
Lille does too.
In terms of being near the top of the table. Maybe, I think they only have the one league title to their name. That was a couple of like 2020 or 2021. But I mean, they have a bit more of a history. That's the thing. People don't understand. It wasn't even that PSG were always at the top of the table. They weren't always at the top of the tables.
Yeah, they're just a newborn team too.
But it's the prickish attitude of like they're trying to act like the last 10 years have actually been like 80 years, like they are a Liverpool or a United or even an Arsenal.
Well, you can also flip that in English football too. City does the same. All fans act the same. The difference with City is
not quite the same way of arrogance, though. I don't think City fans are that arrogant. I think that they're very I think they're very happy to be there. I think that PSG fans are a little arrogant. I've seen interviews with Man City fans.
Yeah.
And for the most part, unless they're like a paid pundit or something like that, they kind of are just like, because they're still not selling out their stadium.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that they're getting a bunch of bandwagon fans from everywhere. They do seem like they're a bit more like hey man, we're just happy to be here. We have a lot of money, but also we're spending it well. And there's a level of humbleness that comes with that. You'd think it'd be the opposite. You'd think that the pricks that are spending their money right and everything's going their way, that they'd get the attitude. But no, it's the French team in the capital trying to act like they are rulers of the world, that they've always been at this seat, this table of elites, and they're not. And they spend their money shittily, and they have an arrogant perception about themselves. And it's the teams that have the most money that spend it the worst, that have the worst attitudes. I think.
Yeah, they probably need a revamp. But when Lyon, Saint-Etienne, Marseille, these are the guys from League One. For me, I think the federation have just to understand the dynamics, because teams like that with a lot of cultural aspect, with a lot of history attached to them, should not be under the radar, especially when you talk about the football itself. I would have loved for if they had a major investor coming in, pick one, like you force them.
Yeah.
Pick one of these teams, because for a competition or for a League One or any league to be lingering at the top or at people's mind, you also have to go with teams that have history. Imagine English football today not having Liverpool, even because Manchester United sell most jerseys than all of them. It's still their most marketable team because of their history.
Definitely.
Now imagine Premier League without these guys. So you remove United. Let's say they drop to Championship. I forgot how you call it, second league.
That's it.
Liverpool does the same too.
Arsenal's the third most winning.
Who's gonna go there?
Yeah.
You're creating this whole problem, and now people that have been watching the league for so long look at the league and they don't see. It's okay to have one or two guys, but when I look at the league, if I go in Spain, I want to see Madrid. And guess what? Real Madrid in League 2, Barcelona in League 2. There's a problem because now it's gonna be difficult to market. Because unless you target another generation, because even the generation that's upcoming, or have been know this dynamic.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to make it competitive, it's another story. If you can have Valencia or Girona taking the title, that's different. But in terms of maintaining the dynamic of the league, I think there's something that has to be done.
Yeah.
Well,
and that's why this, at least up until maybe 3 weeks ago, this season in Spain was really interesting with Girona coming up, and it's not going to happen. It looks like it now. There's too big of a point separation. I think that they have like 9 points separation now.
Yeah.
Even with that draw that Madrid suffered this past weekend. But I mean, you're right. They're the more competitive that it is, but like those teams, the top teams still have to be at the top.
Yeah. Even if they're not a top, but we gotta know. Now, for me, one of the reasons why I always like Premier League, even since I was born, in the early 2000s, I was a Premier League fan, but 50% I was more of a Serie A fan. Because at the time, if you know about football, the late 90s and the early 2000s was really Serie A. And they had freaking gladiators. Like they had, I'm talking warriors, they had legends. All teams, when you look at AC Milan, you look at Juventus, it was just generational talent. But that's beside the point. I'm just saying, it was competitive. Like, it wasn't that every year, Liverpool is going to win it, United is going to win it, Arsenal is going to win it. It was always someone different. Chelsea. In one thing that always pissed me off in Spain, at some point it became a two-man league. Real Madrid in Spain, you could sleep, you could be in a coma, and you wake up the next year and they ask you a pop-up quiz, who won the Spanish league, and you just gotta say Madrid.
You're 50-50. There's two options. That's it.
You will be high. So
yeah, for sure.
Now, if it's in terms of competitiveness, someone comes on winning, yes. But if I look at the league and I don't see Madrid and Barcelona, I'm like, what's happening here?
There's nothing there. There's nothing there.
Yeah. So, Xavi Alonso, Liverpool legend, in case you didn't know, will cost an all-time high amount to price away from Bundesliga leaders Bayern Leverkusen, right?
Yeah.
So what happened is Liverpool has been quoted with a record price to hire Xavi Alonso. I think he might be the most expensive if Liverpool pursue the idea amongst all the coach ever. But
I think you have to still, regardless.
The concern is he is not yet seasoned because it's just his second year in managerial position, and that's a top club.
But he's got a little salt and pepper on him, just a little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah,
he's partially seasoned.
Yeah, the Bass boss is currently leading the Bundesliga by 10 points with Bayer Leverkusen as Bayern Munich sits in second place. This will be the first time that FC Hollywood, which is Bayern Munich, has failed to win the German title in 11 seasons. What? 11 seasons? What's that? What button?
I love it.
I messed it.
What?
11 seasons? That's crazy.
That's wild. Yeah.
Nobody's playing football there. What? But according to Sky Germany, I didn't know they had their own Sky, but according to Sky Germany, Leverkusen will allow Alonso to leave if they receive enough money as compensation with the World Cup winner contracted at That's a German name, but his contract ends in 2026.
It's okay.
So, what do you think about it? Do you think Liverpool should actively pursue this guy? Do you think he will bring something? Because for me, I think there's two things that can happen if he goes there. Exhibit A, he goes there and kills it, and he just cements his name in the history books of history.
Yeah.
Exhibit B, you go there after Jurgen Klopp, and you messed up. And if you know Liverpool after a while, I think by 2009 or 2009, 10, 11, they were a little bit lingering. It wasn't the Liverpool we knew in 2006 or 2005.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that didn't pick up until about 2016 or 2017. Yeah.
You don't want them to go in that phase, because if you come there as the second coach and you do this whole Erin Ten Hag, then there's a problem for you.
I think that the fear of that and the possibility of that exists for anyone that takes the job. Like, seriously, anyone. There's no one's going to, at least not as quickly, do what Jurgen Klopp did.
Yeah.
Let's say there's a fantasy situation in which Jose Mourinho gets the Liverpool job.
Ooh.
I still don't think that it's going to be a first season competing for a treble. I really don't. So I know what you mean, and there is a very strong possibility of him not meeting expectations, but you also have to ask, like, what are these expectations?
Yeah.
For the next person that's going to take over. Are you really expecting it to keep going like nothing changed? Because it won't. So, I think you go ahead and grab the young guy that's proven himself already, working in a system that's predicated more on hard work and getting the most out of the talent that you have, which is what Jurgen Klopp's always kind of done, and not just going out and poaching the best talent, buying the best guys. Like Jurgen Klopp's known how to get the most out of
the players.
Certain guys. Andy Robertson, $8 million from Hull, I think. Yeah. And at one point was one of the best fullbacks in England.
He has that potential.
So these things, Gini Wijnaldum. So sort of in the Dutch league for 8-9 years.
Come to Liverpool at some point, become one of.
Yeah. And even Divock Origi, who didn't get a lot of minutes, but when he did show up, he showed up in an amazing fashion. So, that sounds like something that Xabi Alonso is more likely to do than, I know exactly the best players to go buy from so-and-so. No. You buy from young selling clubs cheaply and you sculpt the talent. He's kind of already doing that. I think that he aligns best with the club. And again, he won't hit the ground running like Klopp did. To me, it's not about that. It's about trying to maintain the system. He runs more closely to that system than any of the other coaches that are available on the market.
And another thing I would say, everybody got an opportunity in life. So you might say, well, he's new. But when Pep Guardiola took Barcelona, he was a freaking novice. He came from Barcelona B. And when he accomplished the first, second, third year, then he became the Pep that we know. So everybody, you don't know how things will work out for him until he gets the job.
Yeah.
And you might be surprised. It could go both ways, right? He could come there and just absolutely kills it, like he does it. And he could come there and just try to build. I think right now I'll go with you. I think the job is open, and anyone can. At this point, I think anyone that you pick, if depending on who, but can be.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Well, and it's one of those things as well. And I will instead of comparing it in a direct situation like managers, I will make it more like players. The issue with having a Messi and Ronaldo is that now you have someone like Yamal.
Yeah,
who is showing great promise, and the biggest mistake that I think that you make is going, he's the next Messi or the next Ronaldo. It's like, but you have to accept the fact also that Thierry Henry wasn't even Messi or Ronaldo.
Yeah.
So and that's a legend.
Yeah.
We're getting into these circumstances of, is this guy the next best ever?
Mm-hmm.
That's unreasonable, and you're almost guaranteed failure if that's the standard, because no one puts that on standards of regular people in life. You're going to be the next world's best gas station attendant. It doesn't happen.
I've always had this weird way of seeing the world, right? It's like every time the world is saying, "Oh, this guy is the next guy," or the next Zuckerberg, the next Bill Gates,
the next 11
Messi,
11 out of
Ronaldo.
10.
He never gets. He never
Of course
gets
he
to be
doesn't.
one.
No.
And the next Ronaldo had been flying under the radar.
Takes
all
years
this time
years to build.
until,
Yeah.
boom, he's there, and nobody ever said he was gonna be the next
Yep.
guy until he is the next guy.
Yeah, well, because we have an 11 out of 10,
Yeah,
and we see someone that's coming up that's really good, and it's like, well, he's the next 11. It's like maybe he's just a 9 out of 10. But since when is a 9 out of 10 something to
Yeah.
turn your nose up at? Like, fuck, I don't
Yeah.
understand why we've gotten to that point.
We don't really know who's the next one until he is the next person. Until you see with your
Yeah.
eyes. I think media does it also to create traffic,
Yes.
propaganda.
Because it could be
and all
20, it
this,
could be
yeah.
30 years until we see someone that does
And
exactly
most
what
people
what
that
they did.
if you to
That's
be honest,
fine.
I feel like it's a curse. Whenever
Yes.
they call you the next anything, oh man,
Yes.
you're guaranteed to flop.
Well, and again, just one more little swing at this thing,
Yeah.
because they're never saying it's like you're the next blank, as in very, very good. It's always this like
Yeah.
unattainable thing,
Yeah.
and if you don't hit that, they consider it a failure. And again, I'll say it again. That's like calling Thierry Henry a failure because he wasn't Lionel Messi. Like, what? We're talking about like two of the best players to ever live, and all of a sudden you're comparing him only to the number one. Why don't we compare him to a pool? Is he, seriously, like, is he in the talk for this next bubble? Because the way that he's playing, I'm fine with saying that Yamal is likely one of the next best players.
Yeah.
And I'm putting him in there with the Gareth Bales, the Eden Hazards. You've got to broaden that pool out more. Otherwise, you're going to be just talking out of your ass of like, oh, he's the next single best of all time, not one of the best of all time, because that's just ridiculous.
So, do you think Salah will be going to Saudi next year?
I don't see why it would be next. It's picked up more traction, and I guess it makes sense.
But we'll be covering that side though. That's a question too. That's some big shoes to fill.
He still has he still has talent. Like he still has years. Like maybe not as many as Lionel Messi and Ronaldo to play at that level. But I mean, he's still playing wonderfully right now. Yeah. And I don't see much of a decline in 1 year or 2 years, but I still see him giving a lot to the league. Yeah. I don't know, like to me it's a bit of a disservice of your talent at that point, because there are certain guys that leave and it's like, I get it. Neymar going to Saudi, I get it. Yeah. It wasn't going to happen again. And it's even more true now. Eden Hazard leaving Madrid, there was no point in the back in the comeback. You know what I mean? Yeah. But like if Kevin De Bruyne were to go to Saudi next year as well, which is a big rumor, that sounds more like Salah. It's like you still have years to play. And I do think that you owe it to not only the fans but yourself to play at the top as long as you can. Yeah. Because there are guys that left the top early, not by choice, but because they just didn't have what it took to stay at that level. But I, once you're at the top leagues in the world, to me at least, and someone can disagree and you can go fuck yourself, I don't care. You should stay as long as they have you. Yeah. Because it's a dream. It's your dream. It was at one point. I don't know if it changed or not. If you started to not give a shit about your goals and passions in life because you got the money, I don't know. But, I mean, there are guys that left early that you would have had to have pulled them out of the arenas. Yeah. Pulled them off the training grounds because they did not want to go. They loved being at the top. They loved playing at the highest level. So for you to walk away early, I'm not saying it's like I don't respect you. It's a sad thing to see though. Just like, oh, you had 2 more years at the very top league and you didn't push yourself through those. And it's like that's just sad, man. It's just sad. So I don't know. But again, it makes sense for what he I think that he digs the culture there. It'll be easy for him I don't know if his wife does, but who gives a shit? That's her choice and his choice, not mine. Yeah. That's a big. No,
but that would be kind of easy to adapt though. It's like what was how'd you call that show? One of these weird shows that's on. It's I think it's a reality show.
You're talking to the wrong guy. I can't help you with this one. I'm sorry.
This one is was it Riyad Mahrez? Is that Riyad Mahrez? He plays in Saudi too, right?
Yeah.
And his wife, I think his wife is British.
Okay.
I did not know. She don't look like a Muslim. I did not know. So
I bet she does not dig the Saudi culture.
Nah.
Well, I mean, I think it's reasonable for women to not like the culture that much. The culture doesn't like them that much.
So we will be going to one of these good games that happen on the weekend. Let's talk about that.
Which one? There's so many. I'm kidding. There weren't that many. Let's take it easy.
Yeah.
Take it easy.
Valencia, Real Madrid.
Yeah. Some odd goals. That first goal was weird.
Yeah.
He just kind of, like a body deflection. Do you remember that one? It just kind of like, it bounced off the Valencia guy's chest. Like he did his best to kind of directionalize it, and it worked into the far corner, but you're like, what is going on with this
Madrid
game?
still has a problem. Madrid has a problem. The defense.
What's that problem?
I think it's the defense.
Tell him.
I think it's the defense.
I would agree with you.
Yeah, Madrid say they need to see how they can cope or attack every time they start playing. They need to fix the defense because they're so timid playing whenever the game start, and they're always taken by surprise by, the opposition team.
Yeah. Well, you know what's funny about that, though? Especially with these highlights. Because that first Valencia goal, I believe...
That was Carvalho's mistake.
It was but then the second goal from Vinicius, that was a cross in from Carvalho.
Yeah.
So you're just like, what the fuck? Like he
he
allows to a goal concession, but then gives an assist on the day, and it's like, well, shit, I don't know what to do about this. Like seriously.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, it's just that at the beginning of the game, all the team wasn't playing on their A game.
Yeah, well, but they've been doing that. They've had rough starts this entire season.
You know what's crazy? Toni Kroos has never had a bad game since he started playing, and this game was really bad for him. He had so many turnovers, and that was weird. So,
and Camavinga does this thing where, God loves a trier. I think. Wouldn't you agree? He does that sometimes. Sometimes he does look lost. Sometimes he does make mistakes. Yeah. But he always looks like he's giving 110%.
Yeah.
There are a couple of times where he's scrambling around, and I'm like, I'm not sure that... I don't know exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I would wager that you also aren't entirely sure what you're doing right now either. But you're working your ass off, and I do appreciate that. But it looked like everybody was sort of a bit lost in the weeds in that early bit.
Yeah.
They ended up grounding themselves and figuring it out. But yeah, I mean, this is a very odd little lineup here, though, of, Tchouameni at the back, who, again, doesn't look horrible, but it's obviously not his area of choice. Every good thing that Carvajal does, he does something else to take it away. Camavinga can get a little frustrated and run around in circles a little bit. Vinicius Jr. still looked good, though, but even he still missed a couple of chances.
Yeah, and let's talk about what happened during the game. A big controversy. So, guess what? Brahim Diaz had 90 plus, 7? I think so. Takes at the last, this is the last action of that game, and he is why he takes this, he's not really taking, but why he's crossing, and immediately when the ball leaves his foot, the referee blows the whistle. And I thought this was I've watched a lot of football games or matches. I thought this was an unspoken rule. Even when you play FIFA, it's the same everywhere. Even if you played when an action is ongoing, especially when it's at the last minute, you let the action finish before you blow the whistle.
Yeah.
As soon as the ball left his foot, he blows the whistle, and they scored. And the goal is obviously cancelled. And Bellingham went to all this whole protest, and a lot of people say he did say F you. But I think actually
I didn't hear that. I heard that it was more that he was just saying like that's a blank
that's what
goal,
Ancelotti said.
which
some people were saying
is
that,
okay to say.
Yeah, some people were saying that he probably did say that to the.
He didn't use those
and
words at the person, but he used them around the person.
Yeah, and the ref gave him a red card, and I think the ref should be looked at. I don't know. He probably had a bet on this game.
The only thing that I will say, I did see some validity to this, because there were players that confirmed it. That essentially, what was it? They had 90. It was like the 90
plus 7.
Yeah, and they only had, but they were in, like, the free kick was taken in like the 98th minute.
Yeah,
and before the kick was even taken, the ref was telling players like, "This is it. Like the corner is the last bit." And he did it. I don't know. Like, look, if it was If he hadn't said that, I would 100% agree with you that like that's a little sketchy. But he was already saying, "Look, man,
that would have been a thing." But throughout the history of football, it don't matter if you're over the minute.
I know.
Usually, when the action is still going, you can't just blow it.
I think
especially that you give 7 minutes and you spend 3 minutes watching a freaking video to see if there was a penalty given. So you still lost. You still wasted your time. And that's even in spoken whole. I've never seen a ref blow
I would need to go back and look at it, but it looked like once the kick came in, it went off someone's head, and it was down at the feet of someone, I forget who, and I think that there were maybe like 2 or 3 seconds where the ball was a bit stationary.
Yeah.
Before it went back up, and I think that was when he decided to blow it. Which again, I don't have an opinion one way or another exactly. I do think that it works in the ref's favor by him saying before it was even kicked, this kick is it. And I do remember at one point going, I see why he could have blown it right there, and it makes sense.
So if he did that would have made sense where they did the corner. And the ball went out, he should have blown then.
Sure, of course.
Now, because you allowed that action to get back. Because if you watch that when he blew, as soon as Brahim Diaz crossed directly when the ball left his feet, you blow the whistle.
Yeah.
How are they gonna stop? You gotta let the action finish before you blow. You could have let the ball go in the air, and if they put it out or if it's a goal, then that's the final whistle. I just think that ref, he didn't know what the hell he was doing.
I think that,
and he's a seasoned ref too. And that same ref, every time they play Valencia, Real Madrid, his refereeing is still weird. Although there's a thing that Madrid, everybody's always with Madrid, but this specific ref, I don't think he likes Madrid that much.
consider this really fast, and again, I don't have a stake in this at all because I'm not a Madrid fan. I'm not a Valencia fan, but like, what is one of the biggest criticisms that we've had of referees this season? Mostly in England, but it's trickled into the Champions League and other leagues as well, where a referee is not 100% certain in their decision, so they just go to VAR and let it overrule. Like, it feels like the referee's scared to give their full opinion, or follow through with their actions. So it sounds to me like in this referee's head, when he said to everybody, "I am blowing this whistle at the end of this corner," that even though there could be a bit of a discussion about whether he should have blown it or not, he had already made that decision, and instead of backing off of the decision and being feckless and being powerless like a lot of referees have been recently, he decided to just stick with his initial call and bit the bullet and just dealt with it. And I don't know how to feel about that.
This call, that's what I'm saying. This call would have been good if there was no action ongoing. Even if I tell you I'm blowing, if you're in an action, I'm scoring the goal, I can't blow. That I've never seen that.
But that goes against what I said, damn it. And this is what I said. It's like it's one of those.
It's like I've watched so many games.
Yeah.
And this pundit, he used to be a player. Same thing. It's an unspoken rule.
Yeah.
All refs does that, and people know that.
It's not even just that it's an action with the ball, but it's a forward-moving action that can lead to a build-up for a play. Yes.
So
I get it.
Unless the ball wasn't in that situation, go ahead. But if an action is going, something. I mean, people make errors. But talking about Madrid, looks like Madrid will be creating a super team next year if everything works in their favor. How do you see Madrid lining up next year?
So I have 2 formations that it could potentially be.
Oh.
Just to give some variety. And,
talk about it.
And there's one that I'm more inclined to go with.
Yeah.
The issue is, and I think that you'll understand why. So I have one where Mbappe is one of 2 center forwards.
Ooh.
And then I have one where he is left wing for a 3-man front.
All right.
Despite me probably preferring him to be in the number 9 of that 3 front, he's going to bitch about it because that's what he does.
Yeah.
So at first I have a 4-3-1-2.
Okay.
So it would be Courtois at the back, obviously. And from left to right, I would go Davies, Militao, Rudiger, Carvajal, just because he's still there.
Yeah.
Obviously, he needs to go at some point or be a part of a rotation. And then in the midfield, going left to right, Camavinga, Cruz, Valverde. That's what they're doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we should probably preface this. This was under the pretense, we said that we were going to do this last week. We were going to do the starting lineup here, including Davies and Mbappe, as if that they are guaranteed to be there. We are not including Vinicius Jr. Because there were rumors of him being sold to make room on the wages for Mbappe,
Yeah.
which isn't guaranteed, but it makes this more fun. And because there have been transfer rumors for about a year and a half now, just pretending that Tchouaméni won't be there either. It kind of helps you solidify what the starting lineup would be. So again, Courtois, Davies, Militao, Rudiger, Carvajal, Camavinga, Cruz, Valverde. In your solo attacking midfield role, Bellingham. Left center forward, Mbappe. Right center forward, Rodrigo.
Yeah.
That's pretty straightforward, right? Here's what the 4-3-3 kind of attacking setup could be as well. Courtois at the back, again, left to right, Davies, Militao, Rudiger, Carvajal. In the middle, and again, this is just starting. This is not who comes on late to remedy things. Your two of your three midfielders kind of centered back, Cruz and Valverde.
Yeah.
And then center attacking midfielder would be with Bellingham. And then left wing, Mbappe.
Yeah.
Number 9, Rodrigo.
Yep.
Right wing, Brahim Diaz. Because he's shown that he can be pretty lethal in and around the periphery of the box with that left foot. Rodrigo hasn't really proved that, even though he is usually either the right forward or the right wing. It appears that the left foot of Brahim Diaz from distance is a bit more lethal. But Rodrigo's good in tight spaces, and I think that remedies a lot of his passing issues that he has at times. So that's the three-man front. It would be Mbappe on the left, Rodrigo in the center, and Brahim Diaz on the right. Yeah. That sounds pretty solid to me. What do you think? Which one do you think is more likely? Which one do you think works better?
I don't think Brahim Diaz will be definite in that team anytime soon, just because he's still young.
Yeah, but with the pretense that Vinicius Jr. is gone, who else would take that right wing? Because Rodrigo starts, that's a guarantee. Yeah, and then it's do we use him on that right space?
I think what he will try to do is either because what you see him doing, he's playing, he's stacking the midfield. He's not playing a 4-3-3, so it's different. So this is what I think. Mbappe, Rodrigo, and this is what he's been doing. Mbappe on the left side, Rodrigo on the right side. Yeah. Then you go down, you have Bellingham as a linking. It's a 8. Yep. Then in the middle itself, you have either Cruz.
And you're going left to right?
Middle would be from left to right. Yeah. Cruz, Camavinga, Valverde.
Okay. So you and I are pretty similar. You just put Cruz on the outside?
Outside, inside. Yeah, I think those are interchangeable. Yeah, Camavinga and Cruz.
I think
that's what they do every time.
I think Cruz kind of has to be in the middle a little bit, just for the legs.
And in defense will be Davies, Rudiger, Militao, Carvajal. Yeah, until he finds, I don't know what he has up his sleeve, but I feel like he might be thinking about Carvajal's position too, because Carvajal is really good. But time is also,
he's getting older.
Age is catching up too, because he's not as quick as he used to be. And for left backs or right backs, speed, man, especially in this new game, you gotta be fast.
Well, and there have been rumors of Ferland Mendy leaving, but not enough. At what point does
I feel like he might keep him just because he's not yet solid in the back, just for a rotation. But
so would you rather see Lucas Vazquez in subbing rotation or Ferland Mendy in subbing rotation?
No, Luca.
I agree with you on
he
that
can
one.
leave Vazquez.
I agree with you on that one.
He is a freaking liability every time he's in there.
I don't think he's that bad, but no, I mean, of those three, if you have someone that comes in for rotation, Ferland Mendy is the better one.
Yeah, well, let's go to England. And if you watch the game, is it England? Yeah. No, let's go to Italy first. Napoli, Juventus. There's not much to talk about.
It's the European tour, baby.
Juventus.
Where's the next stop?
Juventus lost to Napoli 2-1. Napoli was in great shape. They played great football. Osimhen played great, but I have a little problem with Osimhen. Osimhen has to practice his free kick takes. I've seen him taking a lot of free kicks. I don't think his penalty kicks, I don't think he's that good. But
yeah, I agree with you.
Apart from that, they all played great football. They all played very well, and surprisingly, Juventus, I expected a little bit more from them, but it is what it is.
Chiesa's still really good though, isn't he?
Yeah, Chiesa's still.
There's one or two guys in that side that are still, and like. That's kind of always the way that it goes, though, with these big clubs that are not performing at the level that's expected of them.
You know what's crazy? I was looking at during this lineup. I was like, man, this is the first time I look at the team, and I don't recognize at least one big guy in there. I mean, Chiesa has been there for a long time, but like in 2018, 19, 20, I knew everybody
for sure.
So I was like, dang. But you know, it is what it is.
Napoli still got. I mean, like this run of form that they're on is really bad. And it makes no sense to me because I still look at this lineup, and most of this lineup is the same from their cup-winning side last season.
Yeah.
Look, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of their starting 11
do you
were starters last year, the entire season.
Do you think Napoli can still get a chance to be in the top 5?
No.
You don't think so?
Not a chance.
Well, how close they are? They are 6. They have 4 points from Roma, and Roma is the 5th. And yeah,
this recent form, as in like the last 2 weeks or so, has been okay. But they've had maybe like at this point, man, like a 12-week
and I think it's
stretch
clear
of bad
that Inter's winning this thing.
Of course,
we should just go ahead and crown them champion.
I would like to see Napoli continue being in top 4. I like seeing them in Champions League. I like seeing them in the European competition, regardless. But I mean, it just doesn't seem to be going in that way. But again, I don't get it when I look at this lineup. When I look at Kvaratskhelia, Osimhen, and Politano up front, great. That's what got them there last year. Two of the three, Lobotka and Anguissa, still out there, but Zielinski coming on as a sub. I mean, those three were the backbone of the entire thing. The only guy that's missing that's really glaring is Kim Min-jae.
Yeah.
And Jesus was still getting rotation minutes last season as well. So I don't understand. Oliveira and Di Lorenzo are still in there. Like I don't understand what's going on with that form, because they were razor sharp last year. You can't tell me that losing Kim Min-jae and Zielinski coming on in the 65th minute is shattering your team. I'm sorry, I'm just not buying that. And that's nothing against Kim Min-jae. He's a really good defender, even though he's not playing that well at Bayern at the moment. But Bayern's not playing that well at the moment. But I just don't get how you lose all of your integrity that way. But Kvaratskhelia looked really good, and Osimhen, I do agree with you. Suspiciously bad at penalties.
Because he has to understand one thing.
That's what started the drama, though, earlier this season, which is funny. But I mean, objectively, he's not great at penalties.
Yeah, because he has so much potential. I mean, every time he plays with teams like, or every time he even plays and people are trying to be defensive, the advantage that he's tall and really defensive gifted. So, and the way he positioned himself, he will always be drawing these fouls. Once he do that, what's left? Either he takes the penalty or he just gives it to someone that's better at taking it than him.
Nothing wrong with that, I think.
Yeah, you gotta prioritize. Whoever wins the game. Let's go back to England. The Manchester Derby. Who is really Manchester's team?
City at the moment.
Is it?
City at the moment.
You think the Brits will agree with you?
Not after that performance, no. 73% possession, 27 shots on goal.
Oof.
27 shots, 8 on goal. But as the Brits say, on the day, City couldn't hit a barn door with a banjo.
Oh la la.
They couldn't hit shit, which is true, man. Mm-hmm. That first half was, the scoreline should have been higher.
Yeah.
It should have honestly been like 6 or 7-1.
Yeah.
The second half and the first half they were miles apart from each other. That first half was competitive. City missed a ton of chances. Erling Haaland missed 3, I think, that were right at his feet. And Rashford hits that wild goal. And you think for a minute, you're like, oh, wow, this is something that could happen. Like, this is really special. Foden comes out and sinks another one that's very similar, possibly better. And United just fell apart in the second half and allowed a Manchester City that just couldn't shoot straight to keep shooting until they sunk them in. You know what I mean? And it's like it was still dominating in terms of possession, in terms of chances created, but in no way did City look good in this game, I think. That was the thing. It looked,
I think
it was dominant, but not in a way that made City look great either.
Yeah.
It was a very strange, entertaining, a very fun game to watch. But to say that it was an absolute smashing, an absolute domination, no. If they had made more of their chances and not been so wasteful and it ended 6-1, City,
Yeah.
then maybe. But
I think United have to be looked at. Rashford, when you are playing one of these video games that has like a fighting video game, either Street Fighter, and you have the opportunity to when your blood or the super or the whatever.
Yeah, your big super move.
Yeah. And once you hit it, you can't hit it again.
Yeah.
I think that's what Rashford did.
Yeah, for sure.
He used all his super move on that on that goal, and the rest of the game just went downhill.
Oh yeah.
So, because, and I always said this, when you look at the game, Onana is not the problem. One of the reasons that he is really in misform, and his form is actually getting back up. It's because the team is not really playing good. Because for him to actually play like what Ten Hag wants, because Ten Hag, he coached Onana, Ajax of 2018, to play that Onana, or for Onana to be that Onana, you need a good team. I guarantee if he was playing in a team like City, they would have been scoring bonkers. I'm talking hitting from everywhere. Because what he's really good at is having this through ball from nowhere. And he gave at least 2 or 3 to Rashford. And Rashford couldn't put it in. And, I know what the deal is. It feels like Rashford is either A, not 100%, or B, he is totally disassociated with the club in a sense.
I think it's both.
Yeah, I think when you see him playing, it's seeing a hollow body. There's nothing in him that wants to play. There's no fighting spirit in that team. There's no bravery. Nobody wants to really play football. And everybody is just doing whatever.
I want to see, and I mostly agree with you about Onana in this situation. It's easy for his playing style, if the rest of the team is not playing well, for it to come back on him.
Yeah.
That said, I do think that he has made several mistakes in the season that were 100% him. I would like to see him in a system like City, where when Ederson plays well, it's obvious.
Yeah.
When he makes mistakes,
it's
obvious. I want to see Onana get a promotion to a bigger side like that, to where we really can see when and it's clear when he makes a mistake or when he plays well, because Onana, he played very well.
For Onana, it will be easy to see mistakes that are made by him and mistakes that are made because of the club itself. That comes back to him, especially for goalkeepers like that. It means what? It means the mistake that will be solely on him is shot stopping and catching him off guard, because he's always forward. He's never steady in his box. Those will be things that's your fault.
Yeah.
Now,
when Ederson plays that way too, though, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I kind of want it to be objective like that, where it's like that was all Ederson. What the fuck was he thinking?
Now, when you look at Inter Milan, he had good defensive play, so allowing him to be fluid.
Bastoni.
Now, guess what? If I'm on I want to make this through ball or this good pass or whatever. I saw it play. I do it, and the ball is freaking taken from you. A second I do it, they're gonna catch me off guard.
Of course. Yeah.
That's why I'm saying there's a lot of things that if Onana is bad because of Onana, it will be apparent.
Yeah.
Now, if the team is bad,
that's all I want.
It goes to Onana. It will be easy to blame him, because guess what? It will be a result of him being off guard, and that's just normal because he just did a play.
Yeah.
So it's just it's one of those things. And Manchester they play poor. The only person I see with the fighting spirit in that team, to be honest, will be Garnacho, Bernardo Silva. Those are the only players when I see Chester playing. I see still.
You said Bernardo Silva.
Not Bernardo Silva. How'd you call it? Number 8. I always forget his name.
That's not Dallo.
No.
But Dallo
also is another. I think Dallo is the most consistent player throughout the.
You're thinking of Fernandez.
You think Fernandez? Yeah, Fernandez.
Yeah,
Fernandez.
He's okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I see him fighting. I see him bickering. I see him, hey, do this. Dallo is the most consistent. When you look at the ratings, actually, I was looking at it, I think 2-3 days ago. Dallo had the most consistent rating among all of them.
Did you see the formation though? Did you really look at the formation? It's considered, and it's on the sheet as this. It's a 4-2-4-0.
What the fuck is that?
Look at it. Look at it. It's pretty ingenious. And I'm being facetious when I say that. I'll read you the lineup here from left to right. Varane, Casemiro,
Oh, I see that
Lindelof,
44-0.
Dalot. And then in the midfield, you have Garnacho and Evans. Interesting. And your top lineup...
Erik ten Hag, what the hell are you doing?
I don't know what this is. Rashford, Fernandez in your center forward role. McTominay in your center forward role. And Manu on your right wing. Yeah, no, 4-2-4-0. That's like, to me, that's like, I'll have a deep cut for you film buffs. This is a very avant-garde sort of lineup. This is like the Hollis Frampton of lineups. You don't know what that means at all, but it means a lot to me, and I'll appreciate that forever.
This kid too, Maino played very well.
Yeah, he's good. He's young.
For me, it's surprising that he can play that good in such a system.
Such a fucked up system.
And the age too.
Yeah.
Because he's 18. He plays very good. Actually, if I was Manchester United, there's one or two things that can happen. I nurture the kid so he become really good and be an asset, or if he keeps playing like that, another team will want to get him.
Because you've got to sort out so much here. It's like would you rather sell Manu for 90 million at some point, maybe? Because you've got to replace. I'm looking at the starting lineup here in this brilliant formation. You've got to get rid of McTominay. You've got to get rid of Rashford, Evans, Varane, Casemiro, Lindelof. 6 of your starting.
If I come there in that team, I'm going Wild West style. I'm selling everyone. No, for real, I will keep Garnacho because he has it. He wants to play. Like whenever you see him play, you see someone that actually wants to win games, and he is frustrated because they're not winning. I can tell. I will keep McTominay. Sometimes he plays very good, to be honest, just for the rotation.
He reminds me of Conor Gallagher in terms of hard worker.
Yeah,
makes so many weird mistakes of like, what are you thinking?
Yes. Meno has proven this last time that he actually can be a starter. So I'll just let him do what he's doing. I'm selling Rashford. Rashford don't look like he wants to play anymore.
No.
I'm selling Lindelof. I'll keep Varane just because he's the most experienced in that defense. And
he has one more year. I would say, dude, sell him to the Saudis for like 70 million.
Oh, well, if we're talking business move, then I would do that. Yeah.
He's got to go.
Dalot, it's weird because he's not that expensive, so they can leave him. He doesn't cost that much.
Yeah, I agree.
So
and when you still have Eriksen, Amrabat, and Anthony on the bench, I didn't even get to mention them.
Yeah,
you got to sell them too. Jesus,
Amrabat looks like, I don't want to say it, but it's like a scam, dude. It's like I played these good 6 games in the World Cup.
Yeah,
then they give me all this money, and I come in.
So he's there on loan. And Fiorentina are actually kind of upset. I saw this article as well. Fiorentina are kind of upset and want to recall him early because they're afraid that his poor performances at United might hurt his overall value. So they're like, what are you doing over there, man? You got to get back here.
So that was it for the Manchester derby, and after that derby, we really know who's the Manchester team.
Manchester's blue.
Hey man, I hate to say it,
and I can't stand either team. I don't have a personal vendetta against either of them. But
no, I you know what? I think Manchester was probably my father's team. I don't know. I probably have to ask him, but he really loved
Oh yeah, you said that before.
He really liked Sir Alex Ferguson, one of the best managers in talking 20 years and always consistent.
He's like the Nick Saban of European football, where like whether you like the team or not, you gotta love the coach because what he did was. Just you can't refute it. It's amazing. It's amazing watching a coach do what they do like that. He
was there for long, and during his period, they were never in a dark hole. And I remember one of the things that's running when he left, when I stayed back home, my dad and some friends, they were like, he left United with his voodoo. Because since he left, United
I got you. Yeah.
It's like he just took that thing that ignited
the entire soul.
I was
it's gone.
I'm leaving. Yeah. And to be honest, I want to sit him down. I was like, I want to ask him this question: why, since he left United has never been United? What happened?
Yeah.
What did you go? It's United has never been United anymore.
Yeah. You think that bringing in someone like Mourinho, you're like, oh shit, here we go. Like this is what's going to help. I don't think they gave him enough time, but there were also some curious purchases there, and they just didn't work out for him. Yeah. What in the world is left on this godforsaken show?
Well, let's do our power rankings.
I love it. You guys
Wow.
are so great.
Yeah,
See-
we're killing it. We're just coming hot with our power rankings of the week. What do you think should be first, second, third, and 10th? It's just top 10, guys.
It's the sound
So
of her
go
voice.
ahead.
I love the sound of her voice. I'm kidding. Anyway, no, it's the words of approval that I admire most.
Oh, dang.
All right. Number 1, Inter Milan, still winning. Still can't take him down.
Yeah.
Number 2, Liverpool.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, Bayer Leverkusen.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4, Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Number 5, Arsenal. Number 6, Manchester City. 7, Stuttgart. 8, Bayern Munich. 9, Aston Villa. 10, wait for this one, Bologna.
Oof.
Because Atalanta lost, broke their streak, but Bologna are undefeated in their last 7. They are in Champions League slots. They have 19 of their last 21 points. That's pretty wild to me. So they're kind of on a similar streak to what Atalanta is doing, and at the moment they are maintaining without losses. So they are my number 10.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah.
Beautiful. See,
Yeah.
the applause. It's not why I do this, but it might be why I do this.
Well, I'll go with those power rankings for now. I got nothing to say. I got nothing to add. Player of the week. What you got? Phil Ford.
The boy Philly foe.
Yeah, man. I saw Gary Southgate watching the game. I think he was watching Chester City versus Chester and City, which is Manchester
Yeah.
United versus Manchester City. So long. After that game, you gotta call Phil Foden, man.
Yeah.
And this
There's no
season-
excuse.
This season, that's 9 goals, 7 assists. 2 consecutive games or matches that he has been the player or the MOTM.
Yeah.
Man of the match.
Mhm.
Yeah, he scored to equalize and he scored to give a lead to his team. Phil Foden has been playing very, very good football. I'm telling you guys.
Well, and really fast, because I've seen it in a lot of places. People asking questions of like, well, why all of a sudden is he because he's been playing very well all season.
Why do you think so?
I mean, when he was obviously being able to start games and get more minutes allows you to show yourself a little bit more. It means that you're more a part of your initial tactical plan of the match, so that allows you to be more free. But also, he was always in a bit of a midfield role.
Yeah.
An attacking midfield, always hiding behind somebody else, never really able to take the wing for himself, because on that right-hand side, because he's a left-footed player, you had Riyad Mahrez there. But now all of a sudden, with Riyad Mahrez gone, with Jack Grealish not being really competitive for one of the wing spots, it's basically just Doku. Phil Foden is being able to play more on the wing. He's more of the frontal attacking guy. He has great skill on the ball, great dribbling. But his play style, it seemed like he wasn't able to get the most out of his dribbling ability in the confined spaces of the midfield. So I think that really being able to move him up the attacking field, and be one of the guys on that front line dictating the pace of the attack, that's what it was. That's what was missing the last couple of seasons. But now that he is one of the attacking players and not just a midfield or a midfield sub, he's really able to express himself a little bit more. I do think it's that transition up higher up on the pitch, for sure.
Well, let's give it up for Phil Foden.
Good job, young boy. Good man.
Player of the week. He got it all. I enjoy seeing him winning, seeing him playing, and just got great things for him. We have upcoming matchups for the Champions League next week.
Tomorrow.
Actually, it's tomorrow. Yeah. Oh my god.
Tomorrow. Yeah, that makes me. I've got a busy Tuesday. I don't even want to talk about all the shit I got to do tomorrow. But yeah, we've got.
What we got?
We've got Bayern Munich hosting Lazio, with Lazio 1-0 on the aggregate.
Bayern Munich is such a bad form now. They drew again this weekend.
Dude, what if they get bounced out by Lazio?
I think they will freak out in Germany.
So nothing personal. I have no personal vendettas against Bayern Munich, but I do love when these giant clubs are in these positions, because I want them to lose.
Me too.
I want them to lose just so that we can all sit back and go, Can you fucking believe that? So
yeah.
that's interesting to me. Another similar situation in terms of a lackluster performance in that first leg, but obviously more likely to take the two-leg game. Madrid hosting Leipzig, with Madrid up 1-0 in aggregate. You got to think that Madrid creates distance. I'm thinking a 3 or a 4-1 on aggregate, because that defense is still pretty shaky. But they'll score goals at home.
I guess what they're playing at home, man.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
They're gonna understand the full force coming down from Casablanca.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be joke.
I don't think it's gonna be pretty either. Yeah. And then on the weekend, the two big English matchups. Arsenal Brentford is not that big of a matchup per se, but I'm talking about the teams that are three. It's a 3-horse race at the top of the league. So Arsenal and Brentford, and then Liverpool hosting Manchester City. That's a massive game. That's got to be one of the 3 biggest games of the season.
Yeah. And Arsenal, if like us, we didn't watch the game, but man,
beat the shit out of Sheffield a couple hours ago.
Yeah,
Good
6-0.
God. Good God.
Manchester Arsenal is on the roll, man. They are killing it right now.
They've done this beautiful thing where if they've ensured somehow that even if they tie for points with City, the goal difference, they're just creating a massive goal difference. It's like, what if it does come down to the goal differences? That would be insane. That would be one of the craziest finishes in Premier League history, I think. Seriously.
You think it will beat, is it 2012 or 2013? I think 2013 City was, is it City? 2013.
That was when they beat Queen's Park Rangers, wasn't it?
Yeah. And Aguero scored like 2 or 3 goals plus 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Good grief.
Yeah, I mean, if you're tied for points, but it comes down to the goal difference in those games, you just crushed multiple teams 4 and 5-0, 6-0. That'd be pretty special to me. I'm not even saying that as a supporter. I'm just like, you look at that table in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years from now, when people are removed from there, like, oh my God, that is the closest that it's ever been. Yeah. Well, that's that.
Next week we got catch us on the podcast again.
Yes.
Go subscribe.
Hit the button.
Hit the button.
Hit that. God, hit that button.
Yeah. Follow us on our platforms, TikTok, Instagram, and Spotify. You can listen to us on Spotify too. And have a great week, guys. Bye.
I don't really care if you have that good of a week, but just don't have like a bad week or like a really shitty one.
Yeah.